Hey everyone, welcome back to the B-Movie Bunker. Today we're looking at 1995's A Vampire in Brooklyn, brought to us by a little gentleman known as Wes Craven. This is the story of Maximilian. He is the last of his kind, of a vampire, last of his line, and he has come to Brooklyn to find Rita. She is currently a cop, but in his mind, she is destined to be his mate, his one and only. This movie, it absolutely tanked at the box office. It was a box office bomb. I don't think it's a terrible movie. I think it's a misunderstood movie. So you have Wes Craven. People know what Wes Craven can do, what he does. And then the lead role, Maximilian, is played by Eddie Murphy. And then Rita's played by Angela Bassett. Now, I think Eddie Murphy, he wasn't quite good for the role of Maximilian. Now, he plays, doing the Eddie Murphy thing where he plays a couple other characters. He plays a preacher, and he also plays Guido, this kind of Italian thief, a thug. He's good doing that. I think Maximilian, he just didn't quite pull it off, and I partly blame the bad wig they had him wearing. Just something about it just didn't quite get him as the charismatic, vampire. Angela Bassett is Angela Bassett. I think she did a fine job as Rita, overacting a little bit here and there, but I think she does her role well. What really makes the acting in this movie is you have Kadeem Hardison, who plays Julius Jones. He is Maximilian's ghoul. Actually starts off as just kind of a guy who runs numbers and stuff like that, who gets caught up in this thing and becomes a ghoul to Eddie Murphy. Just great in his role. He brings a lot of that comedic element to the movie. And then you have John Witherspoon, who plays Silas, Julius's uncle, I believe. But anyways, they're in the same building. The two of them, they really bring the comedy to this film. The dark edge is there. There is some bloodshed. Some people get killed. It's a vampire movie. People are going to die. But I think to me, the film feels a little disjointed. Like, it didn't quite know, did it want to be a comedy with horror elements, or do it want to be a horror film with comedy elements? And I'm not really sure. I've heard lots of things from different people, Craven and Murphy kind of butted heads on it. I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of would explain a bit of how I feel about it, how it just seems like it didn't know what it wanted to be. I still enjoyed it. It's still an enjoyable movie. It's a vampire movie. It's more along the lines of the stuff that I would have seen, back in the 80s type vampire films. But it's definitely got that kind of Eddie Murphy comedy aspect to it, especially with him playing the other roles, along with some of the supporting cast. Scale of 1 to 10, this is, it's like Prince Akeem of Zamunda had a baby with Blackula. And it's Maximilian. That's kind of how I feel. It's like Coming to America kind of mixed with Blackula, or just mixed with vampire, the genre in general. It's little bit of the fish out of water thing with Maximilian. Kind of. I think they could have played that up a little bit more, with him, being not used to Brooklyn and stuff like that. I think that would have actually led to a little bit better of a movie. But like I said, it was still enjoyable. If you know what it is going in, if you know that this is not a laugh fest, it's not a laugh fest, but it's also not just pure horror. It's somewhere in between. If you understand that, I think you can enjoy the movie and have a good time with it. Like I said, Eddie Murphy, I didn't quite get him as the lead, but I think there's enough supporting cast around him, and the other roles he plays make it a worthwhile endeavor. So that's all I have for this one. Until next time, stay safe out there in the wasteland, my friends.